Matt Damon steps onto the Late Show stage expecting a typical promo, but what unfolds is anything but. What starts as a routine interview quickly derails into a tense confrontation, ending with Damon storming off. So what sparked this on-air meltdown? Let's break it down. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. This one's a wild ride. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is buzzing. Bright lights packed. New York studio, the energy's electric. Tonight's guest, Matt Damon, Hollywood heavyweight, effortlessly charismatic, the kind of guy who lights up a room just by walking in. He's here to promote his latest film, a gripping thriller about a whistleblower exposing deep corporate corruption. The role is close to home. Damon's been outspoken about transparency and accountability. But he's not into the usual talk show antics. This isn't about games or gimmicks. It's about the work. Backstage, his longtime manager Carla, tough, seasoned, no patience for fluff, has made it clear. Keep it focused. No stunts, no surprises. She knows how fast Damon can shut down when the tone shifts. The producers nod politely. But there's a gleam in their eyes. They're chasing a viral moment. Maybe a skit, maybe a gag. Damon's chill guy rep makes them think he'll play along. Carla isn't buying it. She watches them whisper, jaw set. They're going to regret this, she mutters to a clueless stagehand. In the green room, Damon sips water, eyes flicking to a monitor as Colbert opens the show. Stephen's on fire, skewering corporate greed with his signature wit. The crowd eats it up. Damon's face is calm, but his foot taps a rhythm Carla knows well. He's bracing. The cue comes. Damon adjusts his jacket, takes a breath, and walks out. Stephen raps a joke about a tech mogul flop and segues to his guest. His voice is warm. A true Hollywood icon, Matt Damon. The band kicks up. The crowd erupts. Damon walks out cool and confident, flashes a brief smile, and shakes Stephen's hand. Firm, no frills. He sits, posture relaxed but alert. Stephen eases in, asking about the film, the real-world issues behind it. Damon engages, voice grounded and passionate. He talks about the character, the stakes, the truth. The audience listens, rapt. But Stephen, ever the showman, shifts gears. He tosses a joke about Damon's action days. Still doing your own stunts? Damon's smile is tight. Some? His voice is clipped. He steers the convo back to the film. The crowd chuckles, but Stephen doesn't take the hint. He tries again, pulling. Up an old story, a supposed prank from Damon's early career. Aimed for laughs. Damon doesn't laugh. His jaw sets. Didn't happen. Flat. Final. The air shifts. A few gasps. Nervous laughter. Stephen thinks he can save it. He reaches under the desk and pulls out a bright, cheesy plastic whistle. How about this, Matt? Blow the whistle on Hollywood? The crowd claps, thinking it's all part of the show. Damon doesn't move. His eyes are locked on Stephen. Ice cold. Put that away, he says. Low, sharp, silence. Stephen's grin falters. Backstage, Carla watches, jaw tight. Here it comes, she breathes. This is about to ignite. The air in the studio goes heavy. That one line, put that away. It hangs. They're like a warning bell. Stephen chuckles awkwardly, trying to diffuse. All right, no whistles tonight, he jokes, setting it down. But the damage is done. The tension is real, and the crowd feels it. Damon doesn't blink. He's still watching Stephen, waiting, and just like that, the vibe shifts from comedy to confrontation. Backstage, Carla's fists are clenched. Her whisper cuts through the quiet. Told you. Told you to keep it real, Carla mutters from the wings. On stage, the energy crackles. The stage manager, visibly rattled, signals the control booth to prep for a commercial break. But the director holds steady. Ratings are spiking with every passing second. Stephen senses the shift. His hand twitches. To adjust his glasses, voice brightening artificially as he tries to steer things back. "Let's talk more about the film," he says, tone a notch too cheerful, a host clinging to routine. He pivots to the whistleblower's moral dilemma, hoping it'll reignite Damon's earlier passion. Damon responds, composed but cool. He dives into the character's internal struggle, the personal cost of exposing truth. But then he pauses. His voice sharpens. "That's what this is about," he says, locking eyes with Stephen. "Not some cheap gag for clicks." The line hits hard. Gasps ripple through the audience. Some clap in support, others sit frozen. Stephen's smile stiffens, fingers tapping a cue card, reaching for control. He's navigated tough interviews before, but Damon isn't playing by the usual rules. This isn't discomfort. It's controlled detonation. He tries again, asking about the research behind the film. "You're not listening," Damon cuts in, mid-question. "I came here to talk about something serious, not to be your punchline." The crowd stirs, a few shout, "Tell him, Matt." Others boo, unsure if it's real or just brilliant theater. Stephen glances toward the floor producer, who's now motioning urgently. But Damon leans forward, voice rising just enough to fill the room. "This setup, these lights, this desk, it's all distraction. I'm not here for that." The crowd's noise surges, feeding off Damon's conviction. Stephen scrambles, falling back on charm. "Hey, Matt, we're just having fun, no offense." "Bent." His grin wobbles. The words ring hollow. Damon shakes his head. Slow, deliberate. "Fun's not why I'm here," he says. "It's about respect. For the story. For the people watching." Some in the crowd leap to their feet cheering, others heckle, shouting over each other. The studio's no longer a talk show set. It's a battleground. Backstage, Carla watches stone-faced. They're in deep now. Security edges closer too. The stage. Two suited men moving with careful urgency. They know Damon isn't some tabloid actor to escort off gently. He's a presence. In the control booth, chaos erupts. Producers shout over each other, the director gripping his headset. "Let it ride, but be ready to cut." The call is firm, but even he's glued to the feed. Stephen, still seated, tries a Hail Mary. "Let's talk about your co-stars." He's hoping flattery will reset the tone. But Damon's done with the script. "You don't get it," he says. His voice is steady, deliberate. "You think you can spin this into a joke. I'm not your punchline." The crowd erupts. Some chanting Damon's name, others booing or filming with their phones. The energy is uncontainable. Stephen's composure cracks. His eyes narrow. He leans forward, the charm gone. "Look, Matt, we brought you here to talk about your film," he says, his voice hard. "Maybe show a little gratitude for that." That's the spark. Damon's eyes flash. "Gratitude?" His voice drops, low, cold. "For turning my work into a circus?" The studio explodes. Cheers, boos, phones in the air. The set literally trembles from the volume. Stephen grips the desk. A floor producer waves wildly. "Break! Break now!" But the cameras don't cut. It's too big to stop. Stephen stands, voice tight. "All right, we'll take a quick break, folks." He forces a laugh. The band scrambles into a tune, but it's drowned in noise. Damon doesn't move. He stays seated, eyes locked on Stephen. A storm in stillness. The crowd can feel it. This isn't over. As the camera pans out and the stage lights blur, the late show studio is chaos. Stephen waves stiffly to the audience, smile brittle. Behind him, the floor producer signals frantically to cut. But in the control booth, the director's locked in, ratings through the roof. He mutters, "Keep rolling." Damon sits like a stone, the fire in his eyes louder than the crowd. And backstage, Carla watches it all unfold. Her voice, low steady. "They lit the fuse, now watch it burn." Fierce, "You pushed him too far." Carla's voice cuts from the wings, more observation than judgment. On stage, security inches closer, uncertain, their eyes locked on Damon. The band quiets. Stephen leans in, voice low, off mic. but the front row catches the tension. "Let's just do this right, Matt," he says, half plea, half warning. Damon doesn't flinch. His response is barely audible. "You cross the line." Phones are out, the moment already a live feed to the internet. Stephen feels control, slipping, and tries to rally the room. "Folks, we've got Matt Damon." He throws his hands up, prompting applause. It lands uneven, half-hearted claps swallowed by shouts. Some cheer for Damon, others yell for Stephen to fight back. The air is dry wood, the crowd a lit match. Damon leans back, arms crossed, expression granite. He's not here for applause. He's here to make a point. The stage manager, sweating, signals to wrap. But Stephen's not backing off. He grabs a cue card, pivots. "Let's talk about the director." Damon cuts in, voice calm but razor sharp. "You're still not listening." He speaks loud enough for the mics now. "I came here to talk about something that matters, not to play your game." The room detonates, some on their feet cheering, others booing. It's not just tension now, it's tribal. Stephen's jaw tightens. His charm is cracking, his smile curdling under pressure. He tries to laugh, but it rings false. "Matt, it's a talk show," he says, gesturing around. "We're here to entertain, that's all." Damon's eyes narrow. His voice lowers, every word deliberate. "Entertain? You're burying the truth under your jokes." It hits like a punch. The audience erupts, some in support, others jeering. Backstage, Carla nods grimly. Damon's not letting go. Security moves closer. Heavier now. Careful. They know who they're dealing with. In the control booth, producers are shouting over one another. The director, locked on the screen, finally speaks. "Keep it going, prep to cut." Stephen on stage makes one last effort. "Tell us about your prep for the role." His voice is tight, hopeful. Damon doesn't bite. "You're wasting my time," he says, voice cutting like a blade. "This isn't about the film anymore. It's about you thinking you can turn me into a prop." The crowd surges to its feet, some chanting, some arguing. The room is no longer a studio, it's a storm. Stephen's patience breaks. He leans forward, tone sharp, the host mask gone. "Matt, we brought you here to talk," he says, jabbing, a finger at the desk. "Show some respect for that." The silence after is electric. Damon leans in, eyes locked. "Respect's earned," he says, voice low, lethal. "Not by making me your clown." The studio explodes, phones up, shouts everywhere. The director finally yells, "Cut!" The screens flash to commercial, but Damon doesn't move. His gaze still locked where Stephen sat. Stephen's off stage now, huddled with the floor producer, whispering sharp, frantic. The band is silent. Security stands close. But Carla's already stepped forward, her eyes on Damon, ready if needed. The audience murmurs, restless. The break hasn't cooled anything. Some chant Matt Damon's name, others argue from the seats. The cameras keep rolling quietly, unseen. The monitors buzz with ads no one's watching. Damon remains seated, posture stiff, eyes on the desk, the calm eye of the storm. In the booth, the director snaps into the mic. "Get Stephen back, keep it tight." Lights blaze. The band stumbles. Into a riff. Stephen returns, his smile strained. His seat feels colder now. "We're back with Matt Damon," he says, forcing warmth into the words. But the applause is weak, splintered. The room is on edge. And everyone knows, this isn't over. Still simmering from the earlier clash, Stephen tries to steer the conversation back on track. "Let's talk about the film's themes. Accountability, truth." He's hoping to ground the moment in Damon's passion, to pivot to safer ground. Damon takes it at first, his voice is calm, measured. It's about whistleblowers, about the cost of truth, what it really takes to speak up. But then, his tone shifts, hardens. He gestures broadly, at the set. "That's what this should be about, not your games to dodge what's real." The crowd stirs, some cheer, others shift uneasily. The split is visible now. Palpable. Stephen grips his pen tighter. His smile falters. We're just giving people a break from the heavy stuff, he says, leaning back, appealing to the room. That's the deal, right? A few clap, but boos drown them out. The room is tipping toward Damon. Damon leans forward slightly, his tone sharp. A break? Then quieter, but cutting. You're burying the truth under your shtick. The audience explodes. Some rise, clapping. Others shout at Stephen to fight back. Carla watches from the wings, muttering under her breath. He's got him. Security inches forward, presence looming, still holding back but tense. Stephen's voice starts to rise. He's losing grip. Matt, you're a guest here, he snaps, jabbing at the desk. We're showing you respect. Maybe. Try giving some back. The crowd senses the challenge. Noise spikes again. Damon's jaw tightens. His voice drops, deliberate. Respect? You don't get it by turning my work into a joke. It hits like a slap. The audience erupts. Some chant Matt, others boo. The studio shudders with noise. Stephen flushes. His hands clench on the desk. He tries to laugh it off. Thin, forced. This is a talk show, Matt, not a lecture hall. Then, sharper. You want to preach? Find another stage. That's the trigger. Damon leans in. Steady. Fierce. I came to talk about something. Real. He glances at the crowd. You turned it into a circus. I don't perform for clowns. The room detonates, phones out, shouts flying. Stephen stands, breaking the host's invisible rule. Voice raised now. You know what, Matt? If you don't like how we do things, you don't have to stay. It's raw. A direct hit. And the audience loses it. Deafening. Carla moves in closer, eyes fixed on Damon. The floor producer hisses to security. Get ready. The guards advance. Steps heavy. Hands at the ready. Damon doesn't move, but his presence is thunder. He stares. Down Stephen, calm, icy. Maybe I won't. The room erupts again, cheers and jeers colliding. Stephen's done. Face red, voice hard. He points straight at Damon. Then go. The audience gasps. Phones up. Cameras rolling. The director's yelling, cut. But the broadcast keeps streaming. It's too massive to stop. Damon stays seated. Eyes locked. The tension could shatter glass. The studio is a battlefield. Stevens. Then go hangs in the air, igniting chaos. Chants of Matt Damon ripple. Others shout back. A storm of clashing noise. Damon doesn't blink. He meets Stephen's glare head-on, unmoving. Backstage, Carla's ready. Security's on the edge. The control booth is chaos. Voices screaming, unsure whether to cut or keep feeding the fire. The floor producer pleads in Stephen's ear. Pull back! Pull back! But Stephen is too far gone. He jabs toward Damon again, raw and loud. We gave you a platform. He gestures to the crowd. You don't get to trash it. The room quakes with response. Half cheering, half booing. Everyone filming, and then Damon rises, slow, deliberate, like a storm taking form. The crowd falls into a hush. He looks right at Stephen. Platform? His voice slices through the tension. You don't get to call this a platform when all you want is a puppet. And the studio holds its breath, poised on the edge of something irreversible. His voice drops, low, biting. You turned it into a sideshow. A beat. I'm done with that. The crowd erupts, some on their feet clapping, others shouting over the roar, the set pulses, alive with chaos. From the wings, Carla watches. Her expression tight but proud. Damon's holding firm, security moves in. One guard steps forward, measured but firm. Sir, time to go, he says, careful of the weight Damon holds in the room. Damon turns to him, locking eyes, not hostile but immovable. I'm walking, he says, final like a gavel drop. Carla pushes past the scrambling floor producer. Her voice slices through the din. He leaves on his terms. The producer doesn't argue. He's outmatched, and he knows it. Damon scans the room, Stephen, then the crowd. His face carved in resolve. I said what I needed to. The words land like truth. Then, no farewell, no fanfare. He walks, calm, purposeful. The crowd explodes, cheers, gasps. More phones lifted. Stephen stands alone. The band stumbles into a tune, awkward, forced. He pastes on a smile. "Well, that was something, folks," he says, voice quivering under the weight of what just happened. The audience laughs, uncertain, splintered. Backstage is chaos. Producers scrambling, the director barking damage control. Carla follows Damon to the green room. He grabs his jacket, composed. "Told him no games," she mutters. Damon doesn't respond. He just nods, already gone in his mind. Outside, the internet ignites, clips everywhere, opinions flying, fans picking sides. Inside, the show limps to an end. Stephen rushes through his last lines, the spark drained, but none of it matters. The story is already written. The night Matt Damon walked in, called the bluff, and walked out on his terms. As he steps into the New York night, the studio fades behind him. He's not just leaving a show, he's drawing a line, a moment that'll echo through Hollywood. And that's the story, folks. If you're hooked on raw, unfiltered Hollywood showdowns, smash that subscribe button. We're building a crew that, once the real, drop a comment. Where you watching from? Boston, London, some town no one's ever heard of, and tell me, was Damon right to walk? Or did he take it too far? Like, share, and let's keep this fire burning.